The first time I met my mother-in-law, she asked me if I'd ever dated anyone my own height. Then she cornered my best friend at my baby shower to rant about me. It's pretty clear that I'll never be friends with my mother-in-law. But what about my marriage? Is there any hope for surviving life with a monster-in-law? I'm Kristen Chase. I'm a blogger, a mom of 4, a mominatrix, and your host for the Kristen Chase Show. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about monsters-in-law. I'm so happy to welcome Andrea Surtash. She's author, relationship expert, and an advice columnist. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi.
Now, I hear so many moms that have all these lovely mothers-in-law, but that's not me. So tell me, am I the only one?
You're absolutely not the only one. I have interviewed hundreds and hundreds of couples, and a number of them have had problem in-laws, so you're definitely not alone.
So in your work on the book about how to survive the in-laws, why is this problem so pervasive?
You know, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Our families were in our lives a long time before our partners were. So we have a history with them, we have our own baggage, our own connection, and then someone else enters the scene who you love a lot, your partner, and you want to honor your partner and respect your partner, but kind of balancing the two at times, it's not going to be natural, organic right away.
So what I did was I polled my Twitter followers to get some in-law dilemmas that I hope you will help us all solve. Favoring one grandchild over the other. Gosh, this is a tough one. And who handles this? Does the mom handle it, or do you let the son do it?
I think your husband should really handle this, and the one thing I have to stress is don't do this in front of your kids, but your husband should definitely speak to his parents about the fact that it's not working and frame it in a positive way. So instead of saying you never do this, you always do that in a negative way, say this child would love it if you spent more time with him.
Next up, buying gifts that make us crazy. Oh my gosh, this is every year, the holidays. It's so painful. They even call me a Scrooge. So what do you do?
It's all about perspective. There's a fine line between overbearing and overly caring. So choose to see it as caring and have a sense of humor. I bet some of these wacky gifts are hilarious.
All right, here's another one. Talking or complaining about you to your husband. Can you believe that they do this? Mine does this.
Does he tell you?
Yes.
See, that's the first boundary is tell your husband not to tell you. But the second thing he needs to do is talk to his parents about the fact that that's not okay.
Next up, telling you how to parent your kids. Ugh, this is so hard because as moms, we want to be the best for our kids. So when someone else tells us what to do, especially when it's our mother-in-law, it's a bummer.
It's a real bummer, but here's the sad truth that, don't kill me for saying this, but really, occasionally you might learn a little something.
Wait,
so I know, Kristen, but there's a possibility that something they say is constructive and helpful. So that's the first thing. Sometimes it won't be, sometimes it will just be an attack. In that case, do what someone I interviewed does on a regular basis. She builds an emotional wall every time her mother-in-law comes over, and nothing can hit her, and she swears by it. She says it helps.
Love it. All right, so criticizing your domestic skills. Yeah, okay, what is going on here? Why you always have to be in our business?
I know. I think you can't control the chutzpah and this crazy way that your in-law is acting. You can only control how you react. So sometimes if you try humor, you know, if your in-law's criticizing your pot roast, you might want to respond with a joke about it, and that can kind of lighten the mood.
Passive aggressive behavior that drives us nuts. I feel like I can take it if they would just talk directly to me, but it's always those backhanded comments that are the worst.
They're the worst. Actually, my husband calls it passive-aggressive, hold the passive, because so much of the time it's just aggressive and hurtful and absolutely not effective. But I really think in this case it's about picking your battles.
Note to self. I use my blog as a way to blow off steam about my in-laws, but if I want anything to get better, maybe I need to take my gripes off of cyberspace and into real life.
All right, so bottom line, Andrea, for those of us that are really trying to make this work, especially because these are, the grandparents of our kids and we're gonna have to deal with them, what is your best tip for making this work as best that it can?
I really think it's all about perspective. If you choose to see your in-law as overbearing, annoying, horrible, I promise you will collect evidence to support that perspective. If you shift your perspective and see it from a perspective of she's in her own quirky, weird way, trying to be caring, trying to be helpful, you will collect evidence to support that. So really choosing your perspective. But the other big thing is picking your battles. You're gonna wanna, you may not agree with everything your in-law does or says, but you don't have to share that all the time.
Yeah, so we just all need some rosy colored mother-in-law glasses.
Absolutely.
A huge thanks to Andrea for joining me today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for watching. Now, do you have a monster-in-law? I want to hear all about it. Leave it in the comments and make sure to subscribe to CafeMom Studios on YouTube. See you next time. On the next episode of The Kristen Chase Show, my working mom friends are so great at unplugging.
I think, again, it goes along with the working mother's guilt.